Hey there, Ryan Black Real Estate Investor here, and in today's quick tip, I want to talk to you about the importance of understanding your sewer situation in a property, particularly if there are already pre-existing problems. So we had a property we were looking at here 2 days ago where in the seller disclosures on the property, they had mentioned that there were, slow drains. They had to use drain cleaner once a month. They can't run the dishwasher and the clothes washer at the same time, otherwise they overflow. And so it's like, okay, we need to look into this. So we had the property under contract, went out to do the walkthrough because it was a blind offer, as we submit blind offers all the time. So we're under contract, went out to take a look at the property to see if it was something we wanted to move forward with. As soon as I get out of the car, I look along the front of the house so typically, right, when you got the house, you have the garage, if it's an attached garage. The garage is on one side of the house, and then your sewer and water lines will be running along the other side. So I pull up to the house, and on the left-hand side was the garage, and then on the right-hand side was obviously where the sewer lines and the water lines would be, and you can see different indicators of where those are, but that's just a general rule of thumb. You'll know that they're going to run on that side of the house. So on that side of the house, I look and we see tree. There's all of these big old trees. So as we know, different trees have different root systems, but regardless, old trees have big roots. And so as those roots, as they go through the ground, if there is a sewer line there, there's a high likelihood that they can penetrate that sewer line, wrap around it, crush it, or just go through it. And then you've got either roots growing in your sewer, which will of course cause major backups, or just collapse the sewer line itself. So this property was built in the 70s. And so properties of that age, the sewer lines were built using cast iron, right? Cast iron pipes. And so particularly that cast iron becomes very, very brittle over time. Nowadays they use ABS plastic, which I guess lasts longer, but that's what they use now is the black, the 4-inch black ABS. But for the older properties, they have a higher tendency of collapsing. And once they collapse, you're pretty much SOL, and you've got to remediate it, which means trenching it up and having it replaced from the house out to the street at least, and that'll run you about 10 grand. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, obviously we have a situation here. Either we have roots or we have a cracked or collapsed drain line that is causing problems. So if you have just roots, you can go through and just cut those out. So there are services where, just like you do the rooter service where they come in and snake the drain, they have attachments that are like saws that have blades and that will cut. So if you have roots growing in the line, it'll actually just cut out the roots and they'll give you a clear line. Now that's a temporary fix. Obviously, if you have roots growing in the line, they're going to continue growing and eventually you're going to destroy the sewer line. So you have to keep that in mind. But if you need an immediate fix, you can cut out the roots and then you'll have clear flow on your sewer. But why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you this because doing a scoping the line or getting a video, doing a video analysis of a sewer line in situations like this are extremely, extremely important, where you've already got an issue. Because if you're just looking, a lot of times the issue is not in the house. The plumbing inside the house is probably fine. In fact, looking at the plumbing, a lot of the plumbing inside the house had been replaced with ABS inside the house. And so that's most likely not the issue. The issue is what goes from the house to the street. That is the issue. And so what you can hire these companies, plumbers, a lot of plumbing services, they'll do it. And, prices vary. Typically, you're anywhere from $150 to $300, depending on which company you go with or where you live in the country, how expensive it is. But they will come in and they will feed the sewer camera in. They'll go in through one of the pipes in the house, and then they will feed it. They can go all the way out to the street. And so you can see a live video feed, and these guys, the techs, they know what they're doing, so they can tell you, what it is that they're seeing. But you can then see inside the pipe, and you will see, are there roots? Is it collapsed? What's going on, right? There are different ways of remediating it, but it's so important, particularly if you go into a property knowing there's something going on with the sewer. I would so much rather pay a couple $100 to scope the sewer line, and know what we're dealing with, so that we can then adjust our numbers and renegotiate the price or whatever, versus saying, everything's good, we're good to go, getting in the property and then realizing, oops, we have a $10,000 sewer line repair that we now need to do, and we didn't budget for it. So that's a bad day. You don't want to have that happen. So important. If you need to scope the line, go for it. It's part of your due diligence process, and it's one of those little costs that you'll just have. Some properties you'll scope the line and then you say, you know what, I'm not doing this, I'm out next. And so you burn a couple $100. But I would rather burn a few $100 doing my inspections right versus getting into a deal and then now I've got my capital partner's money on the line, I've got all my time on the line, everything that we're doing, realizing, oh great, now we are in big trouble because we've got this huge issue. This is going to hurt our profit margin, and don't want to be in that position. So do your due diligence, scope the line if necessary. Totally worth it.